Hi everyone. So in this video, I'm going to explain to you how you can make a contests or giveaways in Outgrow. So once you're on your website, you can either just directly go to our dashboard and start creating a contest from there, or you can also visit our templates section and in search by industry, or in the contest page, which we're just going to add to this menu, you'll be able to see a lot of templates. So when you go to your dashboard, so when you're in your dashboard, you can just see this is the these are all the 8 content types that you can build and outgrow. And this is the one for giveaways or contests. And this basically, they allow you to activate leads by giving rewards to users who share your content. And you can use them for a variety of functions. I'll show you just some examples of contests that already exist. Before we do that, though, you can obviously also just start from scratch on a particular layout. In this case, the Berlin layout, which you can just preview by clicking here. And it will show you what a contest generally looks like. Here the time has expired, but in general, you'll be able to see that. And so if you just click on use layout, it will allow you to make the layout immediately. And then in addition to that, you have the ability to select a template. And here you can see there are various kinds of contests. For instance, a contest where someone needs to share something in order to be featured on your blog, a contest where some coupons are being given, a contest where people are asked to hashtag your company's name in their Instagram posts, and in return, you give them either an item or you just share their story on your Instagram. So there are different industries for which we have different contests that are available, and you can pick any of these from here in the pre-made section. But in addition to that, you can also preview from here, and then you can obviously just click on use template, and that will allow you to use that particular template. So let me just try to make one. Say, let's try to use this template here. So in this template, you can see it's just basically 2 pages, and what it allows you to do, if you want to change anything on this screen here, this is what your template is going to look like. You can always preview it at any time by just clicking on this icon here. So if you wanted to change this text here, for instance, you just click on it, and on the corresponding right hand side here, it would open up the text where you can change it, the boxes where you can change it. So get featured on a blog is written here, and you can just type more words here, and as you type, these words will show up here, and that is how you can actually change any text that's available. And it's nice to always add a subheading and then a particular button text for the call to action. And this is the time in which the contest expires. We've just put 6 years here because it's a template that we want to last forever. But in general, when you're making a contest, it's ideal to like have it for like a couple of days or at least 15 days so that enough people have time to take it. But it shouldn't be indefinite, because then obviously it doesn't give the impression of a contest so much. So if you want to change the time, you can just select the date from here. So you can select the date in the future when this contest will end and the time as well. So you can do that from here. And once you've figured out what is the particular prize you're going to give, scroll down, and here's the place where you can list all the prizes. So this is the campaign heading, can be win exciting prizes, and then you can also add a subheading if there's something in more detail that you want to talk about the prices. And then you can see the first place winner. You can either add a video or an image. I've added a video. I've actually added a GIF here. So in this case, it's a GIF of like just a blog. So it's because the first place winner gets a chance to get featured on our blog and gets a free ebook. So that's that. And then again, second place winner, I've added a little image here, but you could also add a video if you wanted. And again, a third place winner. So it's up to you. And if you don't want to have like first, second, third place winners, then you can just remove these particular sections and just have one prize, and that's totally okay as well. And this is the footer text, and I've just written this giveaway ends soon. Join in, but you can obviously write anything you want. And in addition to that, make sure you have all these share on social media widgets enabled, because that would allow people to actually share the contest as well with their friends, so that it gains virality on the internet. And you can also have a particular disclaimer. In this case, since this is actually a giveaway template, we have actually used the disclaimer to say that you're not actually going to win any prize for this. This is just showing you how this template works. But in the case of your company, there'd be many different kinds of disclaimers that you would want to put. So it's best to put them here. So that's that. You also have the option to subscribe to social feeds, which basically allows these little three widgets to pop up here, which allow people to just like your company's page on Facebook or follow your company on Twitter or just follow them on, any other social network that's available. And once you've done all of that, there's also, once people click on enter here, they also have to enter the contest. So that basically happens in the lead generation form. So in this case, as you know, as you can see that the contest was asking for your favorite quote and get a chance to be featured on a blog. So people are going to be asked, once they click on enter, they'll be asked for their name, email, and they'll be asked in a particular field to enter their favorite quote. So in this case, I've added a new field and I've made it a text box and asked them to enter their quote. So they can either just directly submit it or they can also log in via Facebook. So it's up to them how they actually want to give their lead data to us for this contest. And you can always add a link to your terms and conditions by just hyperlinking the text here. So we have hyperlinked it to our terms and conditions. But in the case of your contest, there might be particular terms and conditions which you might want to hyperlink them to. So you can do that. And so that's about it for contests. They're really easy to make. Not much is required. It's not time consuming at all. Just remember to also give it a particular name. So your particular, this is for internal use within your Outgrow account so that you can later identify the contest. And the configure and the analyze sections, I'm just going to get to that. But within the builder, as you can see, these are all the basic requirements that you need to make before you actually click here and you go live, and that's how you can publish it and make it live for your audience. But before you do that, also it's necessary that you check in mobile view whether it's looking good, just to optimize it for mobile, because a lot of people tend to actually check this out, do stuff on their mobile. So there are a lot of mobile users around. So it's best to optimize it for mobile as well. Also, if you wanted to change the logo, you just click on the logo here and it would take you on the right hand side, it would open up the particular space from where you can change the logo, in this case here. And if you want to change the background, you can again click on this and then you go to display settings and you can again see you can replace the background image from here. You can also change the color palettes. Currently it's like pink and black and white, but there's so many other palettes available, or you can have a custom palette. So it's really up to you how you do that. And yes, that's how you make a contest on Outgrow. This is the build tab, and then there's the configure tab. So in the configure tab, you can see you can change a lot of options here. For instance, you can change the name of the survey. You can change the URL to say anything you want. So currently it just says something automatic, but you can keep adding a hyphen. You can remove this stuff and add something new. Then in addition to that, you might want to fix the SEO settings, so how the form would show every time someone shares it on social media or it shows in Google. So you have to write the heading and the subheading, the meta description, and then you can also add a particular image. So there's no featured image that would show up on Facebook currently, but you can just click on upload here. That will allow you to have a particular image that shows up, maybe your company's logo or something of that sort. So that you can do. Then in email notifications, you can what this allows you to do is that every time someone finishes a form, if you turn this on, it will send an email from your account to that person. You can add a particular subject. You can also add a variable, and again, so you can have a personalized email to each recipient with their full name going out. So hey, this is your. So you can be like, hey, full name, thanks for answering our form. You can actually write that, and that would make them realize that, oh, okay, this is a personalized email and it's particularly addressed to them. And in this, you can again, in the content, again, you can add all of these variables, so that's possible as well. And once that's done, you make sure you turn it on, and you can send yourself a test email to see whether it's working properly. And then in notifications to self, again, this is again, if someone completes a form, you want to know that they've completed it so that someone from your sales team or someone from your market team can follow up with them. They can call them if required. So, but they need to know, and the only way they can know is if an email notification goes to them every time someone completes a form. So you can add the email of that concerned person from your team here, and then you can add variables here again, by which I mean it's easier for that person to follow up if you have the answer to all the questions listed here. So you're like, oh, let's put the answer to Q1, Q2. So the person who's following up is able to know from that email itself what the data has, what kind of data has been entered. So this is really helpful. And if instead of actually sending an email notification, what you can also do is use our integration section to send all this data that your form collects to any of these marketing tools. Especially for Slack, for instance, you can have a direct notification that goes to a Slack channel, a sales Slack channel, where all this data is passed, so someone can immediately in that group can immediately follow up with someone who's actually completed this form. So that's totally possible. So in addition to these native integrations, we also have Zapier integrations, which would allow you to like connect with nearly all possible existing platforms online. So that's what you can do and embed it on your website. And if you need more embed options, you can just click here and you can see where everywhere you can actually embed it. In this case, it takes you to the configure section. It shows you on full page, in-page pop-up chat, in a greet bar, floating rectangle, side note, custom embed. So you have all these options for embedding, which are really helpful. In most cases, you just have to like copy the embed link we're giving you here and just paste it in your website code, and it will embed automatically. Then finally, if you go to, I'm just going to give you a tour of the analyze section. And so if you go to the analyze section, you can see total visitors, the number of people who started, the number of people who actually entered their lead generation, aka their email and names, and then the conversion rate is basically the number of people who came and the number of the people who actually entered their email at the end. And then you can see engagements is every click, etc. that happened. So top geographies, you can actually see everywhere in the world that this form was accessed from. You can see the devices that it was accessed from. And once you know that, perhaps it was accessed more on mobile, then you can go back to your build tab and configure it particularly for mobile so that it's a better mobile experience if people are actually using it on mobile. So you can see that, and then in traffic sources, you can see where all the traffic is coming from, whether from calculators, direct access, conversions, Facebook, Gmail, etc., and the kind of browser people used to actually access this form. And then in user details, again, this is helpful. You can see the email people entered and their full name, and how they answered a particular question. You can also filter all of this data by any of the categories that are present within the form. So let's just say if I wanted to filter by full name, there are all these if and and statements based on which I can create a filter, and then I can just save the filter. So if full name is entered, then I'm going to assign them to a particular list. If their name is something particular, then I can assign them to a particular list, so on and so forth. And then you can also filter data by date, so you can see on from if the response is in a particular week for more than the another week, and you can again use for different purposes. So it's really up to you. And finally, you can also export all this data into an Excel format and then just use it for other marketing engines if required. So that is in short how you can use, the build, configure, analyze sections. And you can also use the performance tab to see if you're actually missing out in any kind of basic things to make your experience look good. So this actually analyzes your experience and tells you tips about how you can actually improve this. So that's about it. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope you have a great time on Outgrow's very powerful tool. And if you have any questions, feel free to email us at questions@outgrow.co.